my third panelist question to Ms. Sujata. Shift handover errors. This is one of the most frequent errors that we find in our day-to-day life. Mr. X, 68 years old male, admitted in ICU with CHF, hypertension and diabetes. During the evening shift, Mr. X was prescribed Lasix 40 milligram IV, Lantus 10 units subcutaneous at bedtime, digoxin 0.125 milligram PO daily at 6:30 p.m. The evening nurse administered Lasix and noted increased urine output. However, during shift handover at 7 p.m., the outgoing nurse failed to mention the digoxin was not been given yet because the heart rate was low. Lantus was still pending as patient was NPO and the potassium level has dropped to 3.1 milliequivalent per liter post Lasix administration. So the nurse went ahead and gave the digoxin and the heart rate went down further to 42. And once again, Lantus was given and patient was, hypoglycemic. So what are the common pitfalls in shift-to-shift communication that do you find, is most common?
Thank you, Arpita. I just want to thank Madam Dolly for giving me this opportunity on this platform. And also I want to thank BCCI. And what you said rightly is there are a lot of pitfalls while we work. It is very true. There could be various reasons. Still, these reasons are not acceptable. So we have to streamline a lot of things. So I'll just take you through the few points. What are the pitfalls that happens? Incomplete handover. During incomplete handover, what happens? Vital information like pending medication, as it was said here, patient is getting a medication that is pending, and that information was not passed on. If a patient misses one dose, you can understand what is the outcome of what happens of it. So then pending medication, withheld drugs, not communicated. I know these are very important things. Digoxin like a drug is a very important drug. So you have to be very careful about it. So an incomplete handover does affect that. Then lack of clinical context. Context of clinically, if you see, the information is not percolated to your colleagues, especially during shift handover, when you're talking to your colleagues, or maybe communicating with a doctor, communicating with another nurse at the side of you. You have a very challenging group in critical care where you have starting from experienced to novice. So novices are also they are not very confident, so they don't know, maybe we're trying to tell something and they are not able to take it. So what happens, maybe another senior may have heard it, try to do, but very busy. So what happens, clinical context, if there is no explanation, no proper information, then there is a problem again. That is another pitfall. Then we also have something called missed lab updates. You agree with me? You agree? Yes. So what happens? Every department, if you see, every department connects with the critical care. Every department connects with the nurse, especially in a critical situation. So what happens? If you don't get a proper update of your critical values, so you don't know what is happening. Maybe a nurse, even though she is very expert, very experienced, still, because due to various reasons, under pressure, time limited duration, for which maybe not able to follow up the reports. Even there's a lack of problem from the other end of the department where they have not informed. So what happens? In that case also, it's happening. See, in this scenario, what just read out the whole scenario. In this, what happened? Patient had received the Lasix. So post Lasix, critical value was 3.1. So this is another pitfall where we have. So another pitfall, if you see, assumptions. Where we nurses, we assume, okay, we are giving medication. ठीक है, चलो, no problem. Why? क्योंकि ये routine में आता है. But my critical nurse has to understand each medication, what is its importance. How, when I'm administration, I have a responsibility to see what are the side effects, what could the problem can come up with. Whenever we do a charting, putting, we advise bedside nurses, always evaluate and write what are the outcome of a drug administration. Maybe drug reaction not seen, maybe drug reaction has been seen, or maybe the patient is fine after the administration of drugs. This is very important to even put down on your evaluation, on your documentation. That is another part of it. Then verbal order. Handover happens. Verbal order handover, when it happens, what happens? Verbally, we tell a lot of things. Aisa hota hai, this is happening, that happens. Everything is happening. But when you tell verbally everything, you can't retain. Everybody's level of retention is not the same. So what happens? You forget. But had you put it in this written somewhere in a documentation form, even if the person forgets or misses it after the next shift while taking over, can even go through the notes and see. So this is one place also where verbal handover also has a very bad impact. These are also one of the pitfall. So time pressure. Time pressure is another point I would like to say. Like we are all in a rush. Critical care area is a very, very rushed area where so you have patients with a different situation coming, different complication coming with different people dealing, patient relative, then depending and relative one don't come, so many of them come one after the other. That also needs to be like, you have to deal with. You can't say, oh abhi maine bola isko and I cannot talk to you. No, you have to communicate with each and every individual, your consultant, your RMOs, your other colleagues, your in charges, everybody who's around you. A nurse has to deal. So over here, time pressure is a rush turnover can also lead to a lot of omission in this field. So it is very important to monitor these pitfalls and see that we upgrade ourselves and see what we can do. A better ideas we can bring about how to not to miss these pitfalls and take care of it.
Thank you, Sujata, for pointing out the common pitfalls. But I would like to ask you, how do you think SBAR tool in communication can help our nurses to, have a structured handover process and not to miss any points? How it is going to help us?
Yes, this is another very important part. Every nurse needs some guidance. Every nurse needs some tools. They have to get used to certain tools so the tools can guide them and they will know exactly how to monitor their handovers. It's very important. So, if I'll say to improve handover using ISBAR, why only ISBAR? There are a lot of other communicating tools also. Lot of tools in the clinical area. Since I've gotten ISBAR, I would say I'll come to that, and I have another question. Then I'll mention some of the very innovative communication tools that is there. So what happens in this case? To have my staff using this ISBAR handover tools properly, you have to undergo a lot of training, a lot of practice, hands-on practice you need. By sitting in a classroom, if I tell you have to use ISBAR ka situation hai, background hai, this is there, that is there, everything I can explain. But I have to check on ground on the documentation. Actually, my staffs are doing it well. Whether my staffs are writing well. What are the points that is getting missed out? What are the points I could guide them to do? And hit on the point continuously, practically as well as theoretically. Then you will see that they do well with it. Then standardize handover forms. Very important. When you standardize and handover form, what happens continuously every day, every shift they'll be using. And they will get used to the parameters, they will get used to the form, they will get used to what they have to write and what are they missing out. Because see, perfection only comes with practice. It never comes overnight or over time. Okay, so that is very important. That ISBAR template should be ensured. All necessary patient details are at there. As we are following so much SBAR, ISBAR, we are following all this. But every parameter according to the alphabet, it should be there. So the nurse will understand, okay, what I have to write there. So accordingly, the nurse will write. Encourage checklist approach. So if you're using a checklist approach, what happens? You can see, okay, they're doing it properly, they're not doing it properly. That's why we have team leaders of various levels. We have shift in charges, we have in charges, we have supervisors, we have senior staff nurses, where we expect. So according to the checklist, if they can monitor and they can see, it will be a very useful tool to go through. Then it is very much important, this handover checklist or the handover information or the whatever the things that staffs are using, it should be incorporated into your protocols. It has to be there in the protocols, that will act as an evidence, as a guide for the staff. So nobody can say, "Are mere ko nahi pata tha, ami jantam na ki kore korte hai, kothay lekha ache." This can arise. So we have to have it in a protocol, in a written form, in an SOP, that you have to follow this tool. Then we have encourage two-way communication. The communication has to be two-way. One person speaks, other person listen, it cannot happen. Both has to talk, especially during shift handover when the staff nurse comes in, a second shift comes in, and taking handover, the staff nurse should be, the second shift handover should be able to ask her doubts, take the clarity of what is happening, what is not happening. So the two-way communication is must, not only nurse to nurse, nurse to doctor, nurse to other department, inter-department, everywhere it has to be there. Then monitor and audit the SBAR or handover tools that we are using. It is must, mandatory. You have to check, you have to audit, you have to bring the valuation, and also give the feedback and take the feedback. What is the lacking, what has to be done, and what has not happened, and what should have been done to make things much more better. It is very important.
The communication in critical care very shortly. Thank you.
When you speak of innovation, it reminds all of us sitting here that health is going digital now, right? So I'll quickly say that critical care nurses are increasingly using several innovations and especially in a high stress time and sensitive environment. So they are using certain handover tools like ISBAR, SBAR, CUS, PACE, LEAP, EDIT, and also IPASS. So these are the very innovative tools that they use in communication. It will be very helpful. I would like to go through 2-3 points more. Real-time communication app. When you have a mobile app, in that is very easy for you to communicate and to know what you want to know and things like that can happen with the inter-department as well as with physicians. Second is electronic health records, where it is there stored, you can easily look through and can get what you want. Then bedside monitor with the integrated alarms, where it will give you an alarm to tell what is happening. If a patient is having modern ICU, I'm talking about, if you have a very good technology, monitors and things like that, if a patient is going to have a code blue, automatically it will tell you there is a code blue, there is a code blue. So everybody, you don't have to continuously look at the monitor as such whether the patient is having code blue. So these are the modern things that can come into bedside. Then visual communication and aid for non-verbal patient. I would like to emphasize on both my colleagues have spoken about, like, when patient they are not able to talk. This way you can use a pictorial board, communication cards or tablet apps to understand the patient need when patients are intubated or unable to speak. It is very useful in that way. Then tele-ICU and virtual rounds, that also can be done. And then stimulation, base training is very, very helpful for, to get going with the new things that is upcoming in the field of communication. So I want to end this by one simple sentence and a very important sentence, that speak to save.
Thank you so much. Beautiful and very strong quote indeed.